Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Mooney's Mini Bites. I'm your host, Kosi, and I'm joined always by Wani B. And hey, it's another. I think it's hopefully the final episode in our little roadshow series, Juan. So great to hop online with you, buddy.
Definitely. We are paying off our one shot review. Or if
Yes,
you folks remember, we spun for the one shot last week with Eric. We landed on Slow Horses, the Apple TV show. The premise of the show is basically British spy agency, but not the fancy MI6 that we all know and love from James Bond movies. This is
MI5.
more the MI5, the local one. I'm guessing it's kind of
Yeah,
their version of the FBI
yeah, like
compared
they're
to MI6 being the
a lower
CIA.
rung. Yeah, a lower rung in the hierarchy of agencies. Yeah,
Something along those lines. I don't
yeah.
know. We don't know too much about the specifics of British spycraft. But yeah, the show starts off right away. It actually reminds me a lot less James Bond with the fancy gadgets and sleek suits, and more something like 24.
24.
Uh,
Okay. Yeah,
yeah, it's like an English version of a British version of 24.
I
We
also got
start off
I also got a little bit
with
of like CSI, a little bit. Sorry, like but CSI, but like early seasons of CSI in terms of just how dramatic they wanted to be, but almost like again like an English Earl Grey tea dipped rendition of like late '90s, early 2000s kind of crime TV shows is what I was kind of getting a feel
kind
of
of
as well.
big spy or crime thriller for
Yeah,
sure. So we open up in an airport. It's basically we don't know it yet, but they're basically going into a trading exercise where they're trying to catch a terrorist. We
yeah,
have our main guy. His last name is Cartwright. We don't know his first name yet, and he's supposed to be on the lookout for a specific guy who has a bomb or is going to switch off and gain a package in the airport for a bomb, and he's supposed to take him down. Right?
yeah. You kind of thrown
Uh,
into this cool like mission here, like in the beginning of this, what I thought was pretty engaging to have right
for
away.
sure. It's very high stakes. Right away, we open up with Muslim terrorists potentially having a bomb on either a plane or, as it
Yeah,
turns out, going towards a train.
yeah, very
And
harrowing. Yeah,
then we immediately have a case of mistaken identity based on a little bit of I guess, racism or mistaken
very
identity.
much so. Very much a little bit.
Yeah,
Very much so.
basically they get the wrong brown dude,
They
which
got the
again they
wrong brown
were
guy.
looking for a specific brown guy, but they managed to get
Call
the
sheet
wrong guy.
said, "Find the nearest brown guy, guys," and finally
Pretty
they did.
much. They get the shirt colors mixed up, but obviously he was more focused on the face colors.
Mhm.
But yeah, so he gets the wrong guy. He tries to go back and fix it, salvage the situation, but by the time he gets there, it's too late, and the terrorist wins and blows up right next to a train in front of hundreds of people.
Again,
Obviously,
very jarring. Yeah, I was like, "Oh my gosh, okay."
yeah, very jarring start to the show. Obviously, we wonder right away, cuts off. We wonder if the guy's okay. We wonder what happened
Yeah,
to the train, if
yeah.
anything's
Mind's
salvaged.
racing. Yeah,
It seems crazy that they would just start a show with this kind of big terrorist attack happening. And then, right, it seems like we open up later, and our main guy is now working in a much crappier location. He has a little bit of a stubble, looks less clean shaven and nice,
yeah.
in
He's
a
kind of
crappy office,
looking downtrodden, looking very
looking
downtrodden.
downtrodden. It turns out, luckily for everyone, that it was just a training exercise. It wasn't a real terrorist. They were just, running a situation scenario to see if he could manage to successfully catch a terrorist in that scenario. And
And one
obviously, he failed. He
I
like,
really want to add that whole rug pull of just because again the show it does a really good job of bringing you in as a viewer of like oh god like you're thrown into this with Cartwright having to go thwart this terrorist plot and like you see him fail and like oh my goodness and then they kind of again pull the rug out. And again, I really, as a very first episode, as a one shot, I was like, wow, this is how you capture someone as a watcher, and then keep them going and wanted to continue on this journey, because now you're seeing the hero try and fail. Now we're seeing them at rock bottom. Usually, you don't get to that like until like halfway through, and like I just loved how they got you right away, and now you're like, really invested in what's going on. I love that.
Oh, and it definitely turns out to be a way to get us into this new location, which is Gary Oldman's. They call it the Slough House, the
Slow
Slough,
house,
the Slough
slow house.
House. It's basically it's still MI5. It's still technically British intelligence, but it's the shit tier British
BT,
intelligence,
the
right?
BT.
It's the G League. It's the G League of British intelligence. So he got reassigned there. It's implied heavily that it's because of its connects. That's the main reason he didn't get entirely fired. Apparently, his grandfather's also British intelligence and
President, yeah,
basically stood up for him.
yeah.
We get
Nepotism, right?
introduced to him later on. But yeah, we open up on Gary Oldman looking very much like a hobo in his own apartment, right? He looks like shit. He has holes in his socks. Clearly an alcoholic. Disheveled is the appropriate word for it.
He's
And
clearly
then
like
he
reeling
comes,
through something. He's reeling from something, and when we'll definitely figure out why. But like
yeah,
again,
from
you're
the
kind of
context
brought in.
of Cartwright being there, it seems
Yeah.
very likely that he also fucked up or
Hmm.
otherwise had something happen to him that derailed what was likely a promising career once upon a time. We don't really get too many details in this particular episode. But we do find out that Gary Oldman is a huge asshole to all his current employees. Basically, lets them know repeatedly that, hey, you guys are here because you're shit. You guys are here because you fucked up. And I want to make your lives miserable because you are shit and deserve to be treated like shit by me and
Yes,
everybody
very
else.
lovely. Very lovely thing to say to your coworkers. It kind of reminded me of House a little bit in terms of like the delivery, and almost just you can almost hear just the saltiness behind it all. Like I got flashes of House a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. That's another early 2000 show that this I like the main guy, Cartwright. I got very strong Jack Bauer vibes.
Oh yes, oh
Doesn't
yeah.
take, he doesn't like following orders. Likes
Yeah.
doing his own thing. Makes mistakes and brutally beats up a couple of people in his little training exercise.
Oh yeah,
Considering
gets a little
he knew it was a
hard.
training exercise, he was very willing to just fuck up some people that were obviously there to help him. But
Yeah.
that's for a story for another time. So we continue on with the show. We're introduced basically to this office, get, just basically a few names and faces so far. We don't really get too many details on most of the people there. I will say that it's pretty good music choices early on in the episode. The music drops are all pretty nice,
Yep, I did like the needle drops here.
definitely. But then the one actress we might recognize, she was in House of Dragon, Alicent, Queen Alicent.
Yes, yeah,
She plays someone named Sid in this show. She's one of the more competent of the people in this Slough house. Her name is Sid, and she basically gets some intel from some journalist, some right
yeah,
wing journalist.
yeah. Some far
We
right
get
wing.
we get some implication that Muslims versus far right dudes is going to be a theme of the show early on. Right away between the fake out with the Muslims, the Muslim terrorists on the airport, and now we get right wingers, radical right wingers, saying that we need to stop the Muslims and we need to get rid of them. And this guy seems to be a part of that. So yeah, so Alicent or Sid gets some info from him. She also seems to be kind of flirty and friendly with Cartwright, our main fuck up Jack Bauer dude.
You could definitely
Uh,
see a bit of a romance. But
yeah,
again,
a little bit of a
as always with
will
these
they,
shows,
won't they? A little
yeah,
bit of a flirty attitude, but she also kind of treats him like a sad fuck up. So
I also want
It's a
to
little
add
bit of a
again.
mix.
I also want to
Go
add
ahead.
again, just seeing Olivia Cook. Just again, she's such a fantastic actress. From I remember just watching her in Ready Player One in that movie. I loved her in there. Then again, we saw her as an older Alicent in House of the Dragon. So again, whenever I see her, she's always just a delight just to watch as a performer because she just always just has great performances from her. So just love seeing Olivia in this role.
Yeah, no, definitely. So the intel that you get from this journalist apparently is wanted by the high up dudes in the proper MI5 over in Regent's Park. And that's where our dude Cartwright kind of gets involved and decides, again, very Jack Bauer vibes. He decides that he needs to take it upon himself to open up the lockbox, investigate everything on his own against the specific orders of Gary Oldman, who basically tells him that he's hoping he'll get him to quit because he hates him so much because he thinks he's such a failure. So yeah,
Yeah,
obviously he kind of that go get him type that does things on his own and doesn't listen to the rules. Very very traditional tropes for this kind
it's
of
a trope.
character.
Yes, so yes, I
Yeah.
was yes. Once again, I love seeing Gary Oldman in just in this role because again, whether he's playing Winston Churchill in a movie or on this show in an Apple TV show, he always brings a different kind of dimension to every performance. And in this one, he plays just that crotchety, just salty. Like I just he made me super uncomfortable. I just did not like seeing him whenever he showed up on screen. And that's Gary Oldman. He's able just to elicit those different kind of responses out of you as a viewer. But again, it just plays into his character, and you can see how he just pushes that what I call that saltiness onto the other characters, and he's just really just coming after this guy in this show. And I just it's great to watch, but I'm just like, geez, it's Gary Oldman, you suck, bro.
Yeah, no, you definitely meant to hate on this guy. He's
Yeah,
very much a shitty boss at
yeah,
the
he's the
very
boss.
least. But yeah, so we have the Jack Bauer dude Cartwright kind of trying to investigate on his own what's going on. We see some hints that it's like a bigger right wing plot that, very modern, very Trump vibes. The guy
Yeah,
getting pissed off about the
topical.
immigrants coming in,
Yeah,
very
very
topical.
topical. Yeah,
Obviously, this was topical even 4 years ago with Brexit and all this stuff.
this is like
Obviously,
2022 though, so we're like really in it.
yeah, no, for sure. This came out a couple years ago.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, definitely similar vibes to what we're experiencing today. So we find out who the grandfather is, who Cartwright basically got helped out with. He's played by Jonathan Price, another
yeah,
Game of Thrones alum. He's played the High Sparrow. You guys
hmm
might remember from there.
incredible.
So we got a couple of Game of Thrones dudes.
Hmm
Incredible actor, very supportive and nice grandfather. Clearly a very accomplished man, very serious man,
Oh yeah,
but also a little bit treats his grandson. I don't know. He takes it kind of for granted that his grandson will be fine, and that he's just little
he's
slap on
aloof.
the wrist. Yeah, a
Yeah,
little slap on the wrist for what he's done. Obviously, the grandson is frustrated. I mean, part of the problem is Cartwright keeps acting like, "Oh, hey, it was a training exercise. It was a simple mistake." So he doesn't really
downplaying
seem
it.
to be taking responsibility and
Yeah,
really accepting. And also, he's kind of blaming one of his coworkers in that raid, who he said blames for basically giving him the wrong intel on the color T-shirts, which, actually, I didn't go back and double check. I think he does give him the wrong intel. I
it's
think
the
he
wrong.
does
Yeah,
get the wrong intel about the
yes,
shirt
that's
colors.
true. Hmm
So, it kinda was the other guy's fault,
hmm
but he took the full blame for it. Obviously, it sounded like he was making excuses and like he wasn't taking responsibility, so, definitely seems like he has a lot to learn, so to speak, and they're trying
Yeah,
to teach him instead of simply firing him.
yeah. I definitely got the vibes from him and his grandfather's relationship is that whole idea of the mistake, like your mistakes being amplified by either your mom or your dad or grandparents who want you to achieve and succeed the same way they did, so they kind of heap that pressure on you. So you can definitely see just it kind of manifesting in a negative way here, where it's like sure there was it's a training exercise, but you're downplaying like the severity of what it did to me psychologically, and like as my grandfather, you should be having my back, but he isn't, and he's not seeing it that way because his
Well,
mind for
I
things.
kind of saw it the opposite, man, because
Oh, really?
yeah, because I mean, he basically tells them, "Oh, hey, you'll be back on your feet in a little bit." I mean, it seems like the grandfather's not even taking it seriously and just takes it for granted that because of his name, he'll just be back to being a successful agent in no time.
Well, yeah, because he kind of again, he's like, yeah, sure, what happened happened, but it's okay. Like, stiff upper lip almost. Again, he's kind of not under. He's saying it'll get better without actually acknowledging that some wild stuff happened. And that's kind of what I got from it. He almost kind of isn't really fully um, acknowledging it. You ask me.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, and then Cartwright tries to get some information on the journalist out of the dude, but still doesn't, other than just finding out that they're all kind of somewhat vaguely connected, like right wing political parties and people who just basically hate Muslims. We don't get
yeah,
too much information.
yeah.
Then we get basically the main plot and what looks like is going to be the main plot of the season. Uh, the main kickoff, where basically some edgy white comedian and his edgy Muslim comedian friend make some jokes about Jesus and the law in a comedy club.
Yeah,
You know, the kind of stuff that's not very PC, kind of a little bit anti woke. Not as bad as
yeah.
you'd think. Mostly actually shitting on Jesus as far as the jokes go, but still some edgy material. You see the people get pissed off and walk away. People don't really like that kind of subject matter, so to speak. And then, yeah, we actually get a little bit of a fake out where it seems like some Muslims are kidnapping the white guy that actually got up on stage saying the slightly racist jokes, the religious jokes about Allah and Jesus.
Mhm.
But it's actually a fake out right after we see a politician make an ass of himself talking about how Muslims are destroying the country and how it's clearly ISIS capturing white people for making silly jokes. We find out, oh, it was actually the Muslim dude that got kidnapped and
Yeah,
the
British.
Muslim
Yeah,
dude that they're
yeah,
threatening to kill. And it's
yeah.
far right English dudes, British dudes,
So I'll be
basically
on.
taking it out and trying to
Yeah,
send the message to Muslim people like, get out, brown people, get out, Muslims. You're not welcome here. So that's, kind of the kickoff for where we are at this point in the show.
yeah. No, what I liked about this is that it kind of turned a lot of it set out to turn a lot of things on its head. Just not just from the beginning with the training, but even to even to that beat there where we're thought to think one thing's happening, and then boom, we're kind of gut punch with that. And I love that again. It's something that still is relevant today. Like you're seeing, people being targeted and rounded up and all that stuff, and being like taken away by people like with masks and taken to unknown locations. So I think just watching that and that visual, it really did stir up like, oh man, it's like, wouldn't it be crazy if that stuff happened? And it's not too far off, just to say, from what's going on in our present world. So that was a very very powerful thing to see right there.
Definitely. And it seems like we're heading towards some kind of race war scenario.
Most definitely.
Um, it's hot button issues, still relevant, obviously, to this day. Immigrants coming in, obviously, some of them have committed terrorist acts. As far as the Muslims, never
Did you think it
forget,
was
9/11
heavy-handed?
and all that stuff.
Do you think it was
It's a
heavy-handed with
little
it,
bit
Jesse?
heavy-handed.
I thought so
It
too.
is a little bit heavy-handed. It's a crime thriller. It's a spy crime thriller. It seems like it's
Yeah,
fun, but it seems again something like 24, right? It's like
yeah,
24 mixed with a little bit of house,
yeah.
like you said. with a very British overcoat painting the whole thing. It seems
Yes,
fun. I'm
yes.
actually very curious to see where it goes. I've
Oh yeah,
heard
I'm
good things
definitely
about
invested.
the rest of the season. It's like on season 4 by now. So
Oh
they're
yeah, that's
pumping
four
him
seasons.
pretty so they're pumping him up pretty quickly. Just the fact that again, it's not gonna blow your mind as far as something you've never seen before,
Yeah,
but
we're
it seems
definitely
like a
seeing
fun show
this.
to keep up with. And they do have enough twists on the common tropes, enough playing around with some of the things that they usually show in this kind of scenario that I think it could still be fresh and still keep it interesting. The fact that it's led by Gary Oldman helps a lot because obviously he's going to be an awesome screen presence
Oh yeah,
and
of
finding
course.
out about his, why he's this way, what makes him tick, why he's still dealing with British intelligence after he's been sent off to this kind of crappy workplace. I think
Yeah, for
it's
me that
a.
was. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
No, no, you're talking about Garrett Owen's character. Yeah, for me that was like a big lingering thing at the coming at the end. Okay, like I was wondering because I said at the top of at the top of the episode, there's something going on with him. He's taking out on everybody around him. Like we're definitely gonna learn this, and I definitely was still very engaged with the show and the plot and all that, that bigger one. But I'm also looking at his character, and I definitely expect us to learn a little bit more about him and just what happened. You know, what makes him tick. Just the whole why, because I really want to peel that back and then almost kind of go back and rewatch a lot of this stuff too before I guess before I knew that stuff. So yeah, I'm definitely wanting to see more of this show and his character.
For sure, for sure. No, I think as far as a one shot, it's a very successful one shot. Very much
Yeah.
recommend it for the listeners. Give the
Oh
show
yeah.
a chance. It's on Apple TV. Been on a heavy Apple TV vibe lately, but
Like,
yeah, they have some good shows, and they have some good shows, and this seems to be one of them.
yeah, it's not
So
just
that's
Severance. It's amazing.
Slow Horses. Slow
Yeah.
Horses on Apple TV. And our one shot, I think we're both going to end up recommending it and
Yes. I
continue to
think
view it moving forward.
yes. All right. All right, Juan.
Okay.
Thank you very much, man. That was
Right.
awesome.
Yeah, sounds good, Kosi.
Yeah, and thank you, Juan, and thank you, listener, just for tuning in to this Mooney Mini Bites episode. I want to thank you, and find us anywhere, and you can talk to us and see us, and look out for our coming up episode for we're actually going to review Severance, the final season finale episode. So look out for that episode coming out rather soon. But until next time, guys, I'm Kosi, and I'm joined always by Juan EB. Until next time, guys. Peace.